Oh, hi, honey. Oh, thank you. Oh, you're so sweet. Hey guys, it's time for another Project Keep announcement. For the past month, Cliff and I have been holding a donation drive for Project Keep, an amazing program that puts together backpacks filled with essentials for kids entering the foster system. We are collecting money for Project Keep as well as new, unused supplies, including backpacks, school supplies, hygiene products, clothing, toys, and so on. If you want more information on the drive, I've got all the information on my website. It's linked below. Click it, check it out. It's super easy to get involved. Plus, for every donation goal we reach, I will be handing out prizes at random to the donors. And today we have not one, not two, not even three, but 4 winners to announce. First up, congratulations to these amazing human beings. You guys are going to be walking away with a t-shirt from the iWriterly merch store. iWriterly is run by Meg Latour. She is a writer as well as a former literary agent. She's super sweet and super smart. You should definitely check her out. She's got tons of really cool t-shirts available, including the one I'm wearing right now, because you know I had to get myself some iWriterly merch. I mean, hello. Next up, congratulations to these fantastic individuals. They are each going to be walking away with a signed copy of The Helm of Darkness and The Shield of Nike by A.P. Mobley. A.P. Mobley is such a creative person. She is a writer. She also makes perfume and jewelry. She is amazing. A huge thank you to Meg Latour and A.P. Mobley for being such big supporters of this drive. Both Cliff and I really appreciate it. And a huge thank you to everyone who's donated already. You guys have made this drive completely surpass our expectations. We are so grateful. There's still time to get in on the action if you want to help an amazing cause and potentially win prizes. I've got the information linked below. Get on it. On to the video. Hello, everybody. A few weeks ago, I discussed character development, namely flat versus round characters, and today I'm discussing dynamic versus static characters. I briefly touched on the difference in my last video, and a lot of you were like, Jenna, please elaborate. So that's what I'm doing. You're welcome. I'm gonna tell you all about static and dynamic characters, and more importantly, which character is relevant for your novel. So first up, what's a static character?
Are you a static character? No, you're very dynamic.
Simply put, a static character is a character who doesn't change throughout the course of the plot. They're the same character at the end of the book as they are at the beginning. On the flip side, what's a dynamic character? A dynamic character evolves throughout the story. They change as the plot progresses, usually as a result of their experiences, you know, like real people do. Basically, with a static character, you won't really see a character arc, but with a dynamic character, you will. Now, a lot of people will tell you that in order to write a compelling novel, you need to write dynamic characters, and while in many situations this is very true, it is by no means a hard and fast rule. The fact is, static characters exist for a reason, and there are plenty of situations where static characters are pivotal and even preferred for a specific role or story. Because of this, I've decided to break down the 3 most prominent moments when you'll need a static character, and of course the 3 most prominent moments when you'll need a dynamic character. Please keep in mind that there are exceptions to every rule, but for the most part, this is how it goes. First up, when should a character be static? Number 1, if the story is plot-driven. A plot-driven story is focused primarily on the action. The plot itself is driving the story, whereas the characters are just kind of along for the ride. I like to describe a plot-driven story as having far more explosions than deep conversations, whether literally or metaphorically. Because the story is plot-focused, you're not going to have as much time to dive into your character's psyche, and thus, you're probably not going to have as much time to explore their evolution. And 9 times out of 10, that's fine, because that's not the point of a plot-driven novel. The point is to provide action and intrigue. If the MC was a badass renegade at the beginning, they're gonna be a badass renegade at the end, and that's probably what your readers are expecting. Number 2, if the characters have been there, done that. No matter their role in the story, if your character is experiencing something they've already experienced, they're probably not gonna change as a result of it. Take a brand new recruit as opposed to a drill sergeant. One is completely out of their depth, and one has been there a million times before then. There are certain character archetypes who tend to be static specifically because they've already seen a ton of shit. I'm talking grizzled veterans, mentors, wise old sages, detectives who have been around the block before. If whatever you're writing is old hat to your characters, the odds are the plot probably isn't going to provide them a whole lot of growth. And that's fine. And number 3, if the character is in the background. A lot of people will tell you that every single character needs to have a ton of growth and complexity and a backstory and an insatiable sense of wonder. But these people are wrong. Yes, most of your characters should be multidimensional and thought-provoking, but some characters are just there to deliver a message or die in the next chapter. Red shirts, I'm looking at you. These characters don't usually have an arc, and they don't grow a lot in the 3 lines through which they exist. Thus, these characters have too short of a shelf life to be dynamic, and anyone who tells you differently is too pretentious to be trusted. Now that we've discussed static characters, it's time to move on. When should characters be dynamic? Number 1, if the story is character-driven. A character-driven story essentially focuses on the characters and their personal journey. A lot of people believe that character-driven stories are simple and very inwardly focused, and that can be true, but plenty of action-packed stories are character-driven as well. Basically, if the psychology or personal struggles of your characters matters on a big scale, then they probably need to be dynamic characters. It's a lot more engaging to read about characters who grow and change, and if your story is focused on the people, then they should probably be of the engaging variety. Number 2, if the character is experiencing something new and different. You know what happens to people who go through challenges they've never experienced before? They change. Isn't that weird? If you're putting your characters through a tough experience like a dangerous quest, a job promotion, or a brand new world, they should be learning to adapt. Whether they evolve for better or worse is up to you. It completely depends on the story you're trying to write or the message you're trying to convey. But 9 times out of 10, people change when they're faced with hardship they've never experienced before. Sometimes it toughens them up or hardens them. Sometimes it makes them jaded. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, sometimes it gives them compassion or hope. Sometimes it makes them smarter. These are the things you should be thinking about when crafting your characters. And number 3, the character is the MC. Most of the time, but certainly not all the time, the main character needs to be dynamic. The reason for this is simple. Dynamic characters tend to feel more realistic and relatable, which makes for a much more engaging read. You want the MC to feel engaging to the reader. You want the reader to see them as flawed and layered. You want that character to evolve with their experiences. They're the most important character in the book, so they gotta capture the reader's attention. Now again, I cannot stress this enough, there are exceptions. If you're writing a crime thriller and the MC is a 50-year-old detective who's been there, done that, he's probably gonna be static. But for every middle-aged MC who has fought the good fight and is stuck in their ways, there are 10 MCs who are experiencing a brand new adventure they've never experienced before, and they need to be dynamic. So there you have it. Those are the instances where you need to write static characters and dynamic characters. But Jenna, what if my character doesn't fit any of these examples? How does your character not fit any of these examples? They were very broad. If you're still lost, here's a tip for determining if your character is static or dynamic. Take a look at your character and ask yourself, what's the point? Why do they exist in the story? What are you trying to communicate to the reader? In some stories, the character exists to show a journey. The author is having them learn to be kind or brave, or in the case of the Savior's Champion, to embrace murder. If the point of your character is to change in any shape or form, they need to be dynamic. But sometimes the point of the character is to be a rock. Maybe they offer some sense of stability to another character, or maybe they are used to illustrate to the reader that some people just never change. If their point is to stay the same, then they must be static. So that's all I got for you today. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I post new videos on Wednesdays, and if you want to be alerted as soon as I upload, ring that bell. The Savior's Champion is available in ebook, paperback, hardback, signed hardback, as well as audiobook. If you're new to audiobooks, you can listen to TSC on Audible for free. I have all of the information listed below. And be sure to follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram, Tumblr, Facebook, and of course, you can tweet me at Jenna Moreci. Bye!
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Thank you, oh, sweetie. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Look at you bounce. Look at you bounce. You're so cute. I love you.